Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real Film Talk. My name is Will Braunlich, and this show covers everything, from movies to TV shows and editorials, and we will address the TV show reviews in the end of the review. Today, we will take a look at the latest entry to a franchise that has grown quite the cult following since its inception. We will take a look at Evil Dead Rise. Here is my reaction for the trailer. Quick disclaimer, there will be some scary stuff in this trailer. Viewer discretion is advised. All right, everybody grab a blanket, because I think we might need one. And we will take a look at the trailer for Evil Dead Rise.
No matter how busy you ever got, you always found time for me.
That's nice.
I can't believe I'm never gonna speak to you again.
Oh my goodness. That sounds nice.
Just a little girl. I asked my mother.
What is this, Danny?
I found it.
Have you heard the good news?
Will I be pretty? Will I be...
Who wants breakfast?
Here's what she said to me. It's me.
Oh yeah, that's pretty scary.
Don't let it take my babies. This is what happened to Paul. It happened to us.
Oh,
This evil creates terror through total chaos.
look behind you. Look behind you. Yep, there we go.
All you can do is run.
They are.
I'm getting this out of here.
Like the little, how she's like holding the camera there.
Yeah, you know how to lie to kids.
Sounds like a Tower of Terror, except if it was a lot more scary.
Mom?
Mommy's with the maggots now.
Goodness gracious. I don't understand what the whole thing is about, like, screaming when somebody is possessed.
Eeny, meeny, miny. You.
Okay, so it definitely looks scary. It looks like it's trying to be a lot more serious compared to the other installments in the Evil Dead franchise. In fact, I don't really remember, well, I do remember a bit about the last Evil Dead movie that came out in 2013. I like the setup where we're introduced to characters and they're trying to help their friend overcome something. It looks like we're tackling the sister-sister dynamic, which I think is a pretty awesome connection to tackle, and not just a scary movie, but I think in a movie in general. I haven't recognized any of the actors. I'll have to look them up. I'm sure they'll do a great job with this one. This was definitely pretty creepy to watch. Like I said, at the end of the trailer, I don't see what the huge deal is of like there being a lot of screaming whenever somebody is being possessed. Like, I think that's a little over the top. It was kind of creepy when the figure was pointing out saying eeny, meeny, miny. That was pretty well done. So I will go take a look at this movie and I will give you my general thoughts. Evil Dead Rise is directed by Lee Cronin and stars Lily Sullivan, Elisa Sutherland, Gabrielle Eccles, Morgan Davies, and Neil Fisher. This is the 5th installment in the Evil Dead franchise, as this tells the story of Beth, who reconnects with her estranged sister Ellie. However, their reunion is cut short when flesh-possessing demons thrust them into a battle for survival. Now, before I give you my thoughts on this movie, allow me to give you my thoughts on the Evil Dead franchise. The first one, which was released in 1981, I thought was good. It featured the debuts of both director Sam Raimi and and Bruce Campbell, and as stated before, created a cult following, mostly for how cheesy it is, but also managed to be quite scary too. The movie had an estimated budget of $350,000 and made a total of almost $3 million globally. That might not seem like a lot, but it did help us give us Evil Dead 2. This movie was probably even more goofy than the first movie, and it fully embraces the cheesiness. There was also Army of Darkness, which was released in 1992. I haven't seen that one, but I probably will just to see how silly it is. Then much later, in 2013, we got a reboot. I honestly don't think that one was that good, personally, and they did up the ante by making it more gory, and the story and the setup was actually pretty decent, as well as the introduction of the characters. But I feel like as it went on, it slowly got dumber, and it kind of lost my interest. We also can't forget a TV series that aired from 2015 to 2018 called Ash vs. Evil Dead. I haven't seen this one either, which ultimately brings us to this newer installment of the franchise. Now, scary movies appear to have this reputation of relying mostly on jump scares and characters making not so smart decisions. And while it is a safe formula to use and a lot of times effective, I would like to see a horror movie where they switch it up a bit. We've had movies do that before, but it's been a while since we've had that. I say the last time was perhaps either The Conjuring 2, and I want to throw in the theatrical It, starring Bill Skarsgård in there too. I can safely say, however, that this new Evil Dead is pretty much by the numbers. It tries to be like the 2013 version and be more gruesome and bloody, and it manages to succeed in that, leading to some pretty creepy visuals. That's for sure the stuff of nightmares. I also thought the scares were pretty well executed. They had good build-up, suspense with the sound design, and the score by Stephen Meckian. I will say this is better than the 2013 version since I was more invested in this one. I thought the whole setup was better. However, there is one problem I have with this movie, and it kind of drags the movie down, and I think that is the characterization. It's not to say the characters were terrible, but they range from boring to kind of idiotic. As I mentioned before, one of the main things that people really enjoy are the characters making the wrong choices. And while it can be entertaining at times, it really does make me roll my eyes, wondering if we'll ever get horror movie characters that actually do think rationally. Now granted, it would make the movie a lot shorter, but it would be something different. It also doesn't help that I really don't remember anything about these characters. It seems like they each have one defining trait, and that's apparently all we need to know. I actually want to know more about the sisters, their relationship, the relationship between the mother and her kids, the relationship between the kids with each other, so I actually can be invested in hoping that they actually make it out alive. But instead, they're just generic horror movie characters with pretty blank personalities. I honestly will have a tough time remembering any of the characters in this movie. So, with all of that, do I like or hate this movie? I do think this is better in terms of being a straight up horror flick, but it's not as good as the first Evil Dead movies, as those two both embrace the cheesiness and scares they bring to the table. Overall, I think Evil Dead Rise is just good. That's it. Not horrible, but it's far from a masterpiece. Just a standard scary movie. They do have some clever callbacks and hidden details to the original movies that I thought were pretty clever and actually do make this movie work most of the time. In the end, Evil Dead Rise is very disturbing and quite scary with some solid acting, pretty gruesome effects, and I can't say that enough. The movie doesn't waste too much time getting started, seeing how this movie is about 90 minutes long. However, I feel like that's a weak spot, because it then lacks the proper character development to support the cast that's introduced in the film. We've had that happen before, where they managed to squeeze it into a tight runtime, like A Quiet Place, and they also managed to squeeze in the character development with little to no talking. I think the movie uses that to their advantage. But this movie, I think, failed to do so. Also with the characters making some poor decisions, some more than others. I think it's just another installment in the Evil Dead franchise, as well as any other horror movie that came out in recent years. It does try to be like the 2013 version by trying to be more intense and making it so much more disturbing, which I do give a lot of credit for due to the remake. But aside from some solid characters, it didn't really have much going for it. If you are a fan of Evil Dead or horror and just want something to do for 90 minutes, then this might be enough for you. Otherwise, this is just a by the numbers horror movie. My grade for Evil Dead Rise will be a B. Thank you all for watching this review. I hope you all enjoyed it. Now, in terms of TV reviews, they've gotten a lot tougher to get out there. So I'm going to try to stick to mostly movie reviews, and I will get a TV review out whenever I get the chance. I'll try to work on The Mandalorian and The Last of Us. I also have an idea planned for a movie anniversary coming up, so stay tuned. Until next time, this is Will Braunlich, and I will see you at the movies. Save a seat for me.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.